Hello! Welcome to day one of our Simple Life Pattern Company Isla Infinity Tunic and Dress. I love this pattern. So I saw it the first time a few months ago, and I thought it was the cutest pattern ever. It's got a little heart cut out in the back, and it's so cute. And the testers and everybody I've seen make it has just done a phenomenal job. And I was like, I want to make it, but I don't have any girls. I just have boys. So I was like, I'll never get to make something this cute. And then here comes the sew along, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make it. So I cannot wait to make this one. I just love it. I think it's so cute. And when I saw the 52-week sewing challenge for week 6 was sew something with a heart, I was like, okay, yeah, we could sew, anything and use heart fabric, which is cute. But I was like, why not step it up a notch and sew something that actually had like you sew the heart into it. So I'm really excited about this. I say that all the time. I am really excited about it though. So I cannot wait to see what everybody creates this week. I love this. I have not seen an Isla that I don't like. So seeing y'all's creations, they always inspire me. And I can't wait to see what you make this week and to be inspired by that. Super easy week this week because today is just going to be prepping and printing our pattern. Tomorrow will be fabric, and then we're going to sew the main and the lining on Wednesday on day 3. And then we're going to attach them on day 4. And then on day 5, we're just going to sew up the skirt and attach that to the bodice. I wanted to do the attaching the lining and the bodice or in the main on its own day because we're going to do burrito roll method again. And then with that heart cut out, I just want to make sure we give it enough time and we don't feel like we're rushing through the pattern and the process, and we get it just right. So I thought that would be kind of a nice, more laid back week for us. I am feeling much better, not quite 100%. I'd say like 87.3, but definitely feeling a lot better. So I am full capacities for this so long. So hopefully we won't have as many mistakes as we did last week with those leggings. Man, my head was filled with cotton. But yeah, and I can't wait to see what y'all make. So let's get right into, if you haven't gotten the pattern yet, I'll put links in the description. You can grab them there if you want. And then I just wanted to share a couple of my favorite tips and tricks for if you're printing the pattern, but then also share some things. This has a projector file and it has an AO file as well as the PDF. If you do the projector or AO, make sure you also download the PDF just because that has the instructions in it. But if you are printing your pattern, I wanted to give you just a couple of tips here. So pardon me. Ooh. Let's get this brought up. All right, so if you're printing your pattern, the nice thing is you don't have to print out all the pages if you don't want to. If you are wanting to just do like one version, all you have to do is print out those pieces for that. Or the pages for those pattern pieces that you want to do. So definitely check that out. Make sure that you're not like printing a ton of pages. This one's not bad though. It's only 19 pages, even if you do print it out. But the first thing I wanted to go into is, if you see right now, all of these lines are on here showing all the different sizes, which is really great. So it's a 2T to 12 pattern. It's great to see all the sizes, but then when I go to cut it out, I am like a dog that sees a squirrel or something shiny. So like I'm cutting out 3T and all of a sudden I realize I'm on 4T or even worse, 2T. That's absolutely the worst because at least 4T you can still bring it down to 3T, but if you're at 2, you can't bring it up. So what I like to do is if you come over here on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see these stacked papers. If you click on that and then drop down what comes up, here you'll see all the sizes listed. And by unchecking sizes, now we've got only the size that we need to sew or that we want to sew. I like to do this if I'm sewing for one person, one size, and I know I'm not going to sew the pattern very much. If I am going to sew the pattern quite a few times though, or especially with kids patterns, I know like they'll grow, so I probably want to do a pattern as, a couple of times as they grow. What I like to do then is I just like to leave all of these marked, and I print what I call a master copy, and then I take tracing paper. I use the medical paper that's like on doctor's tables. You can get it on Amazon for super cheap. Swedish tracing paper is also really great for that. But what I do then is I trace the size that I want. And then I have a master copy that's got all the sizes, so I don't have to reprint it every time. And then I've got my traced copy of the sizes and the options that I want for that time. And then the next time I need it, if I need a different one, a different size, or I want to try a different option, then all I have to do is trace what I need and not have to print out the whole thing again. The only problem with that is it can get a bit space consuming. But that's again why I like to do a master copy and then tracing paper, because the tracing paper is really, really thin. So it's easy to fold up if you want to, or roll up. I actually used to, when I did paper patterns, I hung all of mine up and then I just rolled my master patterns into a big tube and taped them up and then put them in a laundry basket. So that's how I used to store my patterns. But now I use an amazing projector that I absolutely love. If you are big into sewing, if you sew a lot, or you sew a bunch of different sizes or anything like that, I definitely recommend getting a projector. They are amazing. They make it so easy to sew quickly and get things done. But back to paper patterns. When you go to print out your pattern, there's a couple of things that I want to mention. The first thing is, you see this 1x1 box. This is a box to make sure that you're printing at the right scale. So what I always, always, always recommend when you go to print your pattern, just print out this first page first. Only that page. That way, if it's not right, you can figure out what's wrong and then go back through and adjust it, and you haven't wasted all that paper. That would drive me nuts when I would do that. So what I recommend doing is printing out this first page and measuring this box. As long as it's 1 inch by 1 inch, you're perfect. Even if it's just a slight little bit off, it's going to mess with your fit. So if it is off, go back into your printing settings and make sure that everything is correct there. Speaking of printing settings, what you want to do when you go to print it is you're going to hit Control P or print. You want to make sure that auto orientation is on, not portrait or landscape. You can make sure that portrait is on. That won't change it, but I just like auto. It just makes things easy. The next thing you want to do is make sure that you have actual size selected. If you have custom scale, make sure it's at 100%. But again, just for sake of ease, just keep it at actual size. If you have fit or shrink oversized pages, it's going to mess up that 1 inch block, and it's going to mess up so then your whole pattern is going to be off. So that's always something really, really important. And I check it every single time. I always make sure that it's correct. Other words, sometimes like I'll print something and I'll forget, like if I print something for the boys for school or whatnot. So always make sure that you check your printer settings. So the next thing I want to talk about then is projectors. If you are using a projector file, yay, welcome to the projector club. But also just a few notes. One more note, sorry, about the paper pattern. If you see here, you'll see these circles with lines through them. What I recommend doing is the page that you're going to lay on top of the next page, always in this corner here, right where those marks, right where the lines meet up, I like to take a single hole punch and punch a hole in that. And it creates a little window then that when I lay that paper on top, I can see exactly where those lines meet up. So I can make sure that those patterns are perfect. I tend to, when I don't do it, tend to slightly angle, not enough to notice it until you get far enough into the pattern, and it's just irritating by that point. So I definitely recommend doing that, just taking a little hole punch there and punching it. Okay, now let's get to the projector file. Just a couple notes here. If you do projector, you probably know most of this already. But again, on the left-hand side here, you'll see those stacked papers with all the sizes. So you can uncheck whatever size you don't want to do. And then, here we go. Okay. And then the next thing I want to make sure I mention with projectors is always, always, always check and make sure that you're projecting at the right percentage. So make sure you check that 1-inch box. I know the grids are great, but I hate them. They drive me nuts. I prefer just these 1-inch boxes. But always check that as well. Just like with the paper pattern, just to make sure that your projector didn't update and throw things off, because I know a lot of times if your Adobe updates and you don't realize it, or your computer does even just a minor update, it can change things. It messes with things. So always check that before you cut as well. But yeah, that's it. That we're just getting ready for our patterns. We're just buying it. If you haven't bought it already, we're printing it, or, getting ready for tomorrow when we're going to cut our fabric. I know everybody thinks I'm crazy, but fabric day is my favorite day. I don't know. I just get into it and I get inspired. So yeah, if you are joining me this week, I know this video is a little late and I didn't post a schedule earlier. Sorry, yesterday. But if you are joining me, let me know in the comments what options you're doing. So what length, what bodice, are you doing the heart cutout? I think you have to do the heart cutout. I don't know. I have to look at it a little bit further. But let me know the options that you're doing. If you're doing ruffles, what kind of sleeve. I just want to know it all. So yeah, in the comments, let me know that you're joining me this week and what options you're doing. And then I will see you tomorrow when we cut out our fabric. Bye.